Well, hello. Good evening, everyone. If you took a look at the thumbnail, you know we're going to be talking about those Tate brothers again today. I have a brief update. I'm not going to keep you long here. Hey, Shell, thanks for coming to Mod. I truly appreciate it. Hopefully the mic is good. If there's any problem, just let me know in the chat, everyone. Uh, But today, I just got a little bit of an update on the Tate brothers. Last week, they did have some motions put forward to the Romanian court after when we last spoke about 2 weeks ago in regards to the Tate brothers. They had a few motions, put towards the judges at the Romanian court. Some things that they wanted taken care of. The defense and the Tate brothers had asked the court to consider two motions. And then at the end of the week, some stuff was going around on Twitter in regards to one of their family members, and they had petitioned the court for a motion in regards to that. So let me just start with motion number one was in regards to allowing them to have more reign on where they're allowed to go in Romania. If you recall, they were originally detained, arrested. Then they were let free to be under house arrest. Then that was loosened a little bit so that they could stay in Bucharest around town. Well, now they want to travel a little bit outside to work on their defense and do their business or whatever it is. So they petitioned the court for a little more freedom to move around in Romania, which the court did allow. Now, in Romania, from what I have read on the legal system there in what's being reported out of Romania from some attorneys there, it's not actually unusual because as long as after indictment, no further illegal activity or they don't have anything new to throw at them, they would loosen the constraints so slowly that way. There would be no other reason to keep them under house arrest or to throw them back in jail. And that's kind of similar to how it is here, too, but not exactly. I mean, they do it a little bit differently, but it does make common sense that unless they were found to be intimidating witnesses or doing anything contrary, they would allow them a little more freedom because it is going to be quite a while before they go to trial. Legal system is just as slow there as it is here. It takes quite some time to prepare everything and get the trial going. Okay. Now, last video that we did on them, we gave you the indictment and all of that. That is linked below still for your reference. Okay. But the judges, the court did allow them a little more freedom. So, of course, the Tate brothers brought that out there. That was a great win for them, because, the charges, there's nothing to them, there's nothing going on here. And if you read the social medias, if you read Twitter, and see any of the posts done by what we would call the Tate crew, you would think that they weren't even under arrest for anything. Well, that's why I felt it necessary to come and put the state, of what's going on with those motions. Because you know what? It's insane that they actually think that they're not up for any charges. There are actually people out there on Twitter saying that the charges have been dismissed just because they're allowed to leave the locale of Bucharest, not Romania. They don't have their passport or any of that. But because they're now allowed to go to a supermarket the next town over, apparently there's no case. Well, I scoff. I'm scoffing. I'm scoffing at the ridiculousness of people who don't know how to read, But anyway, hi, Juju, Wrecker. Hey, Darth, how are you? Mark. Hi, Mark. How you doing? Uh, that just never gets old. I'm sorry. Thanks for making my Monday, Mark. Anyway, back to the charges are all are AI generated. They could be, Darth, except for they're not. They don't even exist. I get it, right? Like, because they're like just making the whole damn thing up. Not so true. I mean, it's actually a legal document. We have it down there. It's been translated over. It comes from the court. But here's some of the stuff that I wanted to bring up first. Okay. all right, they're allowed to move around Romania a little freer. Okay. Hey, Waffle, good to see you. They can move around a little bit freer, and that's a win for them. And I'm happy. Like they could go to the supermarket, go to a movie, have lunch with someone if they choose, Hey, they should enjoy a little bit of it while they can, right? I really don't have a problem with that. Motion number 2 was about the assets, and this one's a little more serious. If you recall, after the indictment of Romania, because a lot of it involves the unpaying of taxes in racketeering and money made in Romania by ill-gotten gain, what we could say, like, they're not entitled to. They seized a lot of their assets. Poor Andrew Tate lost his Bugatti and a couple of his cars, and they seized some buildings and some bank accounts and yada, yada, yada. They pretty much put them broke. They're living on a little bit less than they're used to. Let's just say that. And that can be a problem. So, of course, the attorneys for Tates have actually petitioned the court to get some of those assets released, trying to say that they were in other people's names and they were just taking, it's unnecessary, blah, blah, yada, yada. Well, that did not get approved by the court. They didn't get any of their assets, even though Andrew Tate came forward and said, but that's not even in our name. Well, the court was able to prove, or actually prosecution was able to prove, that some of the name changing happened after the charges and, well, looked a little bit suspicious, but I haven't seen the legal document that proves that, so I'm just going to put a wink, wink and nod, nod on that one, although it's coming through from some major media sources that that's exactly what the court said. So we'll see. But you know me, I like to see it in black and white, not just a media report. But all I can say is that it does seem, since they denied it outright, that perhaps there's something to it. Okay, because they could have shown that those assets belonged to someone else legally, and there was nothing carrying on about it, nothing to be suspicious about. Those assets would have been released back to them. So sorry, Twitter Andrew Tate gang, another epic fail on your part for misrepresenting the facts. They didn't win that motion. That would be a loss, a big L on the side of the Tate brothers there. They're just not going to get it. Okay. And the next thing, before I go to the third one, I just want to bring this up. Let me try to play you a little video from Andrew Tate. I really want your opinion about this. Okay, hopefully this is loud enough.
Don't get legal before you get rich. This is super important. We're talking about hustling here. I'm telling you the hacks to becoming rich. Do not get legal before you are rich. You can fix your legal bullshit when you've already made money. I, in most of my companies, will make $1 million before I'll even consider fucking around with a tax form, talking to an accountant, or registering any fucking companies. All that shit is on the later base until you have proved the viability of your company and you have money coming in. When you're rich and you have money in the bank, then worry about that stuff. Do not waste your time, energy, and money doing all that legal crap before you know anything about whether your business is going to work or not. Don't do that. It's counterproductive and it's expensive and it's a time sink. If every time I had to start a company or an idea, I had to go register a company, get an accountant, do tax forms, do VAT forms, what a waste of time. I started maybe 100 companies in my life. 20 of them made money. You're telling me 80 times I would have had to fuck around? Don't do that. A company provides cash. If you're a street drug dealer, you own a company. Much more than the guy with all the legal entities which ain't making money. We're hustlers here. It's the Hustlers University. Do not confuse this. Money in. What's the lessons I've been teaching you? Money in. Where's the money in? Legal shit is a cost. We're not interested in costs until we've seen the money in.
The Matrix has attacked me.
Okay. So I would just like to say to all those sycophants out there on social media that are saying, like, this is just all trumped up charges. Andrew Tate obeyed the law. Listen, his whole strategy was break the law first, worry about the law after. Do you wonder why there's a 295-page indictment against him in Romania for racketeering kind of stuff? Human trafficking, even. Oh, hi, Rocket Couch. Hey, Cat Ninja. So, anyway, when I tell you that it's going to be Andrew Tate's own words and policies that sink his ship, well, that was just a little taste of it. Okay. So the next time you see on Twitter or in the social medias that there's really no reason for any of this, because, he didn't do anything wrong. Of course, he obeyed the law. Actually, he promotes don't do it the way everybody else does. I mean, why register your business? It's not a business until you illegally make a whole bunch of money. Okay. And I agree that not everybody wants, government interference, but the law's the law. Sorry. That's what we have to do in society to get along. Okay. There are laws for a reason. I know that it can get over crazy and they can interfere too much. But if you're out there running a business without following legal procedure or paying your taxes or whatever, well, all the money that you're making is at risk. And is it really worth it? You're going to play the odds that way? Because it's not your money if it's at risk. Okay. If you've done illegal things to get it, there is the risk that it's going to be taken back away from you tenfold. Because on top of the money that you made, which will now belong rightfully to other entities, there will be the penalties. There will be the taxes. There will be fines. There will be the loss of your freedom. How much is your freedom worth, people? What do you think Tate's freedom's worth right now? Think he might be having a few doubts, not able to leave Romania? You think he might be, thinking that one over again? And people say, Claire, why you get up there and talk about Tate all the time? Because he's damaging. Do you know how many people were influenced by what he said? Young people trying to get ahead, who are frustrated with the way that the world is right now, and it's so goddamn unfair. So what are they going to do? They're going to screw the system. And I ask you, is he really helping them? The only one Andrew Tate ever helped was himself. And if anyone thinks he's doing good in this world, you're blind. You're blind. The only one Andrew Tate ever promoted to help was himself. All that wonderful advice. It's either going to get you smacked in the face or locked up in a foreign country. Anyway, I've got a little bit more. All right. Stop this. All right, that one. Nope, this one. And just in case the hypocrisy didn't get you enough with that one, let's move on to Brother Tristan, who this week on Twitter decided to say that he has strong moral convictions. He would not speak with a man he thought was a human trafficker or who committed crimes against women. I'm sorry, both Tate brothers are charged with human trafficking, as well as several people in their organization. Their top-notch power room is full of charges against them with crimes against women. Matter of fact, it seems like it might even be the ticket into the power room, the way that goes, if you look at the odds. But hypocrisy abounds with the two of these brothers who are in Romania, charged with human trafficking, of creating an organization to human traffic others, who have 7 women listed in the affidavit, and that was a year ago. The investigation has kept going on, and they're moving forward. There seems to be much more. But if you look at Twitter and you look at everybody who supports Tate, none of this exists. None of this exists. It's almost like they're hoping that nobody actually knows what's going on over there. But it is big news. It is big news. I just think the hypocrisy is worth pointing out repeatedly, because like that's kind of rich, don't you think? That this is actually Tristan Tate, brother, charged in the affidavit, saying this kind of crap. So down below, I also listed, just like last time, the account of murder by crayons, because they've got the affidavit. They're following the court case. They must have some connections over there in Romania, because they're getting stuff quick. Okay. But they actually came forth with a pretty good post here to remind Mr. Tristan Tate what he was charged with. Trafficking in minors, even. Not even just adults. But that in 2020, a minor was recruited by the method of Loverboy by the defendant, Tate Tristan, for the purpose of exploitation by determining to practice prostitution. He is also charged with trafficking in human beings, as provided for in one of their laws here of the criminal code, which is ordered to extend the criminal prosecution. Okay. But because he did order this person, other exploited persons and other perpetrators, more than one person involved. Listen, they are being charged with human trafficking. Both brothers, Andrew and Christian, otherwise known as Tristan, both charged with human trafficking. Don't let them fool you. Please. It's absolutely ludicrous to me. Now, one of the other things that they brought to the court this week is, well, although I don't want to really be too harsh, I did find it quite compelling that they started a campaign of wanting to come to America because their grandma was sick. That Romania should disregard all the violations of laws and them spitting in their face in regards to how things are done in Romania. And because grandma was not feeling well, they should be allowed to come to America and visit with her. No. The court didn't agree. The court did not agree. Maybe they should have thought about all of that before they actually made videos about, let's just screw over the laws and systems and start businesses and make our money on the backs of others. Let's violate human trafficking laws and human rights in general. Let's treat people less than, and then beg them for consideration and humanity and some sympathy. Let's just parade that around. Let's just start a campaign in America for our rights to go visit our grandma. Well, Romania don't care about that. They don't care what's going on in Twitter over here. It didn't work. You look like an idiot. Sorry. I'm not going to feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for grandma. I feel sorry for grandma. You know why? She has to know that her two grandsons are over in Romania, charged with all of these horrible things that they have done to people, allegedly. Still, they're charged, and she's not going to get to see them, and I feel bad for her. Do I feel bad for Andrew and Tristan? No. You sow it, you reap it. You know the saying. Yes, the Romanian government does have a history of corruption that does rival many other countries. You're correct about that, Darth. But you also have to put the other side of the coin. They did create the DOCII, which has had incredible success rate at cleaning up that reputation, that they are cultivating against that reputation, and within the government are trying to clean it up. And that's how the Tates got charged. You know, there is actually interviews of Andrew Tate actually out there flaunting it, that Romania was so corrupt. Of course, that's where he would be. It was easy to do whatever you wanted there because nobody cared. Well, they have actively, over the last few years or so, created new organizations to actually fight against it. So what you're saying is true, but it's not the whole story, because from that corruption came some good. The corruption existed and they were full aware and they're fighting against it. The success rate of the DOCII in actually going with all of these RICO and trafficking and big enterprise organizations has been pretty darn good in prosecution. They've gone against officials, people in the legal system, people in law. All kinds of authoritative figures have been prosecuted by this subset of the Romanian government, the DOCII. Okay, and they're doing a better job. They're fighting against it. You know, they do have to. They have a large amount of people working for them. It takes a lot longer to get into that organization, and they're, I'd have to say they're making an effort. You know, they did have a horrible, horrible reputation, and they are working against it. But that doesn't mean the Tates aren't guilty. That doesn't mean there isn't anything here. Because let me tell you, okay, if there wasn't anything here, they wouldn't be charged. Because they would still be making money on them. Okay, they'd be like, paying to get out of it, making a deal for their taxes and stuff. But that ain't happening here. That's not what happened in here. They're going to make them pay. Is there a lot of criminal enterprise there? That's the reputation. Yes, it is. Okay, well, that just means that the Tates even tried to screw over the criminal enterprises. And when you just continually try to do it like that, well, you're going to have to pay one way or another. But anyway, one more thing. This account murder, whoops, wrong one. Sorry. Murdered by Crayons, back in September, also wanted to indicate that one of their friends, Tristan, saying he wouldn't talk to anyone who actually had anything to do with human trafficking or anything like that. Several people have been charged with crimes against women. One of them in particular has been charged with child pornography, sex with a minor, sexual corruption of minors, and trafficking of minors. They've got a file on this person that's quite long, and it includes forgeries and signatures, all kinds of stuff. But I'm going to give you the link over there to this one. It's a very long thread, but it goes on and listing all of the friends of Tristan, because what pissed this account off, Murdered by Crayons, was this post from Tristan. How he would not speak with a man he thought was a human trafficker or who committed crimes against women. The hypocrisy of the two of these brothers is just more than enough. More than anybody can stand. That's all I can say, But I'm going to leave you with that. It was going to be a very, very short show tonight, and it is. I'll just take a look at some questions if you have any. Yeah, Darth, I guess the government, especially corrupt governments, do hate competition. I do guess. I agree. I mean, you've got a point about the corruption in Romania. It's well known. But the DOCII was developed to try to combat some of that, you know. Hi, Mark. Yeah, for teaching young girls a trade, sure. But I don't know if that's exactly, in most countries, that's illegal. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know, you guys. Yeah, the Bugatti. I agree. The Bugatti market is kind of obscene right now. Hey, it's a nice car. I will admit it's fancy, you know. I think, yep, I'm glad you like picked out on the Bugatti people because, like, yeah, I mean, how much is his freedom worth? But anyway, that was the updates and the motions in the court, contrary to what we see on Twitter, which was really pissing me off with all of the just bad information. I mean, it's coming right out of Romania, the results of the courts. And so I don't say, you know, do I agree that there's corruption in the government itself? Absolutely. People's rights being violated. Do I think that the Tates' rights are being violated? No. I think they have to follow the criminal system the way everyone else who's charged in Romania has to do. And the more that they try to weaponize their PR system and their network of people over here in the States to try to come to their aid, well, it's just not going to work. Romania doesn't care. Okay. Andrew Tate just did that whole thing with, Alex Jones and Elon Musk, and he begged them to make sure that they cause a ruckus when he's convicted, of the charges that his flunkies say don't even exist. If they don't exist, why is Andrew Tate looking for a way out for influencers all over? He wants to cause a ruckus. He's already claiming wrongful conviction and he hasn't even been convicted yet because it's all the Matrix, because he didn't do anything wrong. It's just that we don't like him. Doesn't that sound familiar? Isn't it manipulative narcissism? It's never his fault, huh? The man who's in control of everything in his life, well, nope. Nope. He totally doesn't have control of this one. All right. Hello, Chris. Nice to see you. Hey, Aunt Chair. It's nice to see you too. Well, everybody, that is my 30-minute live. There you go. That was it. Kind of new for me. Only wanted to talk about Tate for a little bit. I thank you all for being here, and I hope that the rest of your night is great. I will be back tomorrow at 7 with a longer true crime, my regular true crime and legal update that I do on Tuesdays. And if you look at the thumbnail, we are going to be talking about Rex Harriman, the Long Island serial killer. We're going to be talking about Mr. Hughes, who's been charged with the rose petal murder of Christina Parcell. And we're also going to be talking about James Craig, the dentist who poisoned his wife with smoothies. Yep, we're going to be updating a couple of those. It's been a while since we talked about them. They're slow-moving cases. But I'm hoping to have a very special surprise for you. So I hope you'll be here to see that. And on that, well, I'm going to say goodnight. Everybody have a great one.